Hey, thank you for watching Tonal Distancing. This week I'm speaking to Rubin Brothers Circus, that's Rubin Brothers Circus, talking about their song Coke and Mentose, as well as a gig that they have on Saturday, March 5th in Brooklyn at Brooklyn Music Kitchen. Rubin Brothers Circus is playing. I'm playing with Kanem and the Diamond Dogs, and we also have Alexion and Genique that's also playing. So hope you enjoy the episode, and if you're in New York, check out the gig. Thanks. Hey, I'm Kanem. I'm here with the Rubin Brothers Circus. We're playing a gig Saturday, March 5th at Brooklyn Music Kitchen. Come check us out. We'd love to have you and see you there. So here I'm with Moses and Tobias from the Rubin Brothers Circus. Tell us about yourselves, guys. Tell us about the Rubin Brothers Circus and what's going on with you guys.
So thanks so much for having us, first of all. We are brothers, as you might have heard from the name. We're from New York, and we started playing not actually too long ago. In September was our first gig as a full band. We play mostly originals, throw some covers in there every once in a while for fun. And yeah, we're playing on 3-5 at the Brooklyn Music Kitchen. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah, I think Genique and Alexion, and then obviously yourself are all joining us on the bill, which has us really excited. So we've never checked, it's going to be the first time at the venue, but it looks really nice. The system looks great, looks really homey, so it'll be fun to check out.
Yeah, so you guys grew up in Brooklyn or just New York in general, the area?
We grew up in like Lower Manhattan, about a block south of Canal Street. So a lot of, a lot of like early access to the West Village music scene, and it's where I work now, but also super important as like a teenager, being able to go to places like the 55 bar and just hear whoever was in New York City or Smalls or the Village Gate, not the Village Gate, Village Vanguard. And yeah, so that's where we grew up, and we feel pretty blessed for that.
Yeah. And as far as like the style of music and stuff you guys play, I heard it. I play rock and blues, so I kind of pick up in the rock and blues notes. But how would you guys describe it yourselves?
I think rock and blues is definitely a good place to start, at least for the first pass of describing it. But we definitely have a lot of folk influences, and Moses has brought a lot of funk influences with his bass playing, and we try to keep it, fresh, get some stuff in there,
So Moses, you normally play bass, and Tobias, you're playing guitar normally?
Okay. Yeah, usually with our full set, I'm on electric guitar, he's on bass. We got David, our drummer, and then another guitar player who comes in.
Who's the other guitar player?
His name is Asher. He's actually based out of Philly, so he's, in terms of our family, he's very much a member of the band, and it's really just a question of lobbying him to get up here.
Actually, in New York City.
We want him. I want him as a roommate as much as I want him as a bandmate. So we've been really
making New York,
making the push, but we need a couple more like awesome shows, and then I think we do have him convinced. I definitely a lot of like country and a lot of like neo soul albums are really important to me. So Steve Earle's El Corazon is like a sort of fundamental no skipper for me. Same with Kareem Bailey Ray's like eponymous album that had Put Your Records on, and that sort of went super like viral or charted, but I love every song on that record. And then I don't know, like we try to use like some found sound. There's like a lot of shit we like gather around, but I think blues and rock and Americana in general is very much the backbone of our sound, and certainly our songwriting idiom and proclivities.
I definitely bring a lot more of the indie rock into the sphere. I'm a big fan of like Hop Along, Pine Grove, stuff like that. Even like I don't love like punk pop from the like early 2000 punk pop, but I have an appreciation for it, and I feel like that comes through.
What? No Blink 182 love? Is that what you're trying to tell me?
I got all the Blink 182.
No, we got love. It's just not like I don't know if I want to name them as like a major influence, but the that punchy guitar with the bass and the kick, like all that is something I definitely try to bring through every once in a while.
For sure, for sure. Well, I think let's hear what it sounds like, what you guys do more than just talk about it. So, what song are you gonna play, and then we'll kind of dissect it a little bit. I'm interested.
For sure. This tune is called Coke and Mentos. It's one of the first ones that I really workshopped with Tobias. Like I think we had done a lot of writing sort of separately, but this tune, sort of, I had half finished, 2/3 of the way finished. Had it in a demo on my laptop, and we sort of took it apart. And I was like, well, I have these two alternate verses. I'm not in love with either of them, and so sort of helped me like find my way and sort of get away from that first sound you reach for in your computer that like oftentimes like you're over commit to because it's the thing that sounds right, but it definitely wasn't what was right for this tune. So we took it away from that and have been slowly polishing it since.
Yeah, so this is Coke and Mentos.
Says it's true that I don't know what you've been through. No one needs my help to get them down the stairs. It's on you. If you think that it's that simple, just take her home and call me once you're there. You're the cocaine, I'm a Mentose. You're the Tito's, I'm a Benzo. Used to drive your friends home, 'cause that's how much you care. It's a scratch off on the subway. It's a blackout on a Monday. It's we will get there someday, but someday isn't here. When she's blue, she likes to sleep in different bedrooms. In the morning, blot the bags out of her eyes. But for you, it's just a quick trip to the bathroom, the only cheap thrill that your money couldn't buy. You're the cocaine, I'm a Mentose. You're the Tito's, I'm a Benzo. Just to drive your friends home, 'cause that's how much you care. It's a scratch off on the subway. It's a blackout on a Monday. It's we will get there someday, but someday isn't here. Don't start now, we won't know how to just turn around and walk away. There's always a ceiling, always a feeling, always a reason to stay. Don't start now, we won't know how to just turn around and walk away. There's always a ceiling, always a feeling, always a reason to stay. You're the cocaine, I'm a Mentose. You're the Tito's, I'm a Benzo. Just to drive your friends home, 'cause that's how much you care. It's a scratch off on the subway. It's a blackout on a Monday. It's we will get there someday, but someday isn't here.
That was sick. That was sick.
Thank you.
Thanks, brother.
So you said that started off as something like deep in your hard drive or something more electronic that you were working on,
Yeah.
and then you brought it here.
Yeah.
So one second,
I'm confused how it started off electronic. That's what I'm saying.
So I had this. I thought of the sort of the hook first, right? I had that like the Coke and Mentos pun that I liked lyrically, and I was like, well, because it's.
Can I say that it works really well? By the way.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. It's and it did wind up. It didn't fit super easily at first. I was like, is this too corny? And I made it too corny because I was like, this is a pop. This is what, this should sound like pop artists that frankly, I don't even listen to that much, but I was like, I want to do this. And so I had this
synths and like,
yeah, like
he doesn't listen to much. It's just all,
I just have all the instrumentation.
Stacks of Katy Perry, deep cuts too. Just like,
look, I actually will defend. I will defend Katy Perry. I do like Katy Perry.
I like her too.
I like Katy Perry, fine.
But certainly not what comes naturally to me as a musician. But I was like, oh, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna produce the shit out of this. I'm gonna, So I had like 808s. I had a synth bass. I had like this synth organ that hit on the drop. And none of it was going to be super applicable live. The bass part was super like sterile and really rigid. And you were like,
yeah, he showed it to me, and I was like, no. This is not where this is going. This is like, this is a rock ballad, and this is like, we gotta, develop that instead of.
So was it like more punchy and like faster, and then like you had to pull them back, or how'd that work? Was it easy to convince you, Moses, or did Tobias have to like pull you?
The beginnings of the song actually were written before we started. Like our musical sort of relationship really took its biggest uptake at the start of the pandemic in 2020 when we don't have a big age difference. It's 4 years between us, but he was always in middle school or high school while I was in college or having graduated, and it forced us to live together for the first time in close to 5 years, and then we started playing all the time together. But we didn't play in a band until September.
And it was really mostly covers of songs that we'd like grew up listening to or like both knew really well. And it wasn't until like late summer where we started being like, what do you think about this original? That was one of the first ones. That and another one of our tunes that he had kind of like 50-75% of the way done, and then took him the rest of the way. And
then once I heard it with the band, it took a while for it to make sense. But we started to transition it to like what its best version live, and a lot of that was working out, and they're honestly still getting worked out. Maybe
I mean the close harmony and the close harmony is like that was.
But that was an acoustic. Once we played it acoustically,
right.
It made it that was like, oh, that's actually natural, and this can sound like very different from the initial like thought that was in my head.
Yeah, and then the dynamics are kind of. For me, a little bit of a difficult one, which maybe is not as obvious when we played acoustic. But when we have the whole band, it was kind of harder to like get the song because it wants to go energy high really fast. So it was hard to get it to kind of, stay interesting the whole time because it's repeat the chorus 3 times. Like you got to keep it new. So.
I'm definitely interested to hear it with a full. I mean, that was awesome. I mean, I don't know what your plans are. I would definitely do like a single of the acoustic and like a band version because both. I mean, I'm interested in the band version because you're talking about the challenges of the dynamics of it, and I'm gonna be sitting there listening, like, oh, where are they cutting? Where are they pushing? Where are they pulling? And it'll be really cool to see that live. But the acoustic one was sick as well.
That's great.
Yeah, it's good to hear. We definitely worked on that really. Yeah, we generally I think we play with the whole band and we think about big arrangement stuff, and then especially with songs where we have harmonies, it's really helpful to like pull that all back and just have even one acoustic guitar and us really listening to each other and our vocals and
that's how we do basically all of our vocal.
Yeah, for the most part.
I think I don't know, it was like a producer or something, but someone said that like you know that you have a good song if you can start off on acoustic, whether that's guitar or piano. Like obviously, like an amp and an electric guitar put a lot into a song, but sometimes when it's too heavily reliant on it, it doesn't have that base foundation that works with works the way your song does.
Yeah, I think we're yeah. I mean, I think we're lucky in that like a lot of the irony of this whole thing is that this is one of the few songs I started writing, and I started writing with leaning on production and like leaning on the VSTs and the weird sounds. I would say basically everything else that we play that's original, it started with one of us and an acoustic guitar in our bedroom. And it's almost always, it's definitely always easier to go in that direction. If you have that and that's compelling, then you can add what it needs. But to reverse engineer it from something that's leaning on like, a specific tone or a delay pattern or whatever. And I just think, especially in the early stages of a song, not being able to just pick up something and play it and work it out as soon as you have an idea, but like, oh shit, I need my laptop because that has the beat or the track,
like, I need my band. I need my whole band.
Oh, yeah.
People to show up at one place at the same time for this song to work.
I need my boss tone.
You need a spreadsheet for the schedule.
I need someone
a lot more hours.
But we've been really lucky because this, David and even Asher, our guitar player, have been very committed and invested, and so we're feel again. Very
Shouts out
blessed.
to David for helping his girlfriend move today.
Yeah. So that's why he's
a champion for everyone else too.
Sure.
You know, it's not just for the band. He's helping his girlfriend get from Brooklyn to Harlem. So God bless him for that.
Oh man, that is one hell of a trek too.
Yeah.
Oh man. So I guess I want to talk about like what musicians and influences you guys have maybe for this song, but also just in general. I know you've mentioned some names previously, but I think it's always interesting to hear the specific song and then even like outside of that. So what are some of the influences you have?
On this track, I think arrangement wise, I think like groups like, folks like Simon & Garfunkel or even the Milk Carton Kids were super,
especially for the vocals specifically,
super influential. And we've seen the Milk Carton Kids live together. And one of the interesting things about playing with your brother is you have basically a downloaded knowledge of all of his. I know what his idioms are for the most part. Like I know who he's familiar with. But then I also I love a manufactured pop song too. Like we mentioned Katy Perry earlier, like Firework or Teenage Dream, or lines like that all are that have been written by like 12 people, so everything's like insanely like clever and punchy and like is gonna catch your attention. And so sometimes I aspire to that. So lyrically, like I was chasing after that a lot, wanting to sound like a team of people or something.
I also think this, but like more sound wise in terms of like the instruments, which maybe is not coming through so much with just the two of us on acoustic guitars, but I think that, and kind of going off the pop thing, it is one of our poppier songs, or maybe pop rock, pop punk influences are bigger. I always think, and this is more after the fact, but I always kind of think about it, Peach Pit, the Alrighty Aphrodite by Peach Pit.
Peach Pit is huge for both.
Yeah,
the sound we're chasing, they're big ones.
Yeah.
Well, I find two things funny, like the dynamics that you go for, kind of, you don't necessarily get that from the acoustic bit, but then the other thing you said of the after the fact, like realizations you start to have, I always find that so funny. Like when you're writing when you were writing this song, like I hear the cleverness in it, but when you get that question of like, well, what's the song about? It's sometimes hard for me to talk about what my songs are about, because it's just like my songs, I mean, it ends up being about this, but I was writing about all these separate little things. So did that happen to you guys writing this song too?
Oh, big time. Big time. I think so. Like again, like I was sitting on the hook for months throughout the spring of 21, and couldn't figure out what the verses were, and just slowly started, you know, it's tough because I'll often want to like say, oh, the song is about this, and then what people hear when they hear that is that it's not about like the 6 other things that also like directly informed it. So I was watching a lot of people like I was really invested in just behave in a really self-destructive way. You might even
You were
say
just
that
watching Love Is Blind constantly.
right. I was actually working. I was working for a married couple. And I was like watching just like way too intimate like levels of their like function and dysfunction. And I was watching, and then
So this song is about marriage.
some of my really I think the song is about not being able to walk away from people that are unhealthy for you. And feeling that sort of like an explosive attraction to somebody, and so it kept piling up, and so I kept pulling like, oh, this person that I'm watching do sort of send their own life down the shitter is doing like X, Y, and Z, and then these other people that I really can't stand each other are doing A, B, and C, and then you just sort of pick a like I was like, oh, and the patterns sort of started to emerge from a lot of the relationships that I was watching around me.
Can I just say real quick, what better metaphor than Coke and Mentos for that sort of like by themselves perfectly fine, fresh
Delicious.
breath, tasty mixer, but together it is completely destructive.
Right, precisely. So
I'm sorry, Tobias.
like-
what were you gonna say?
Oh, I was just saying how, just in terms of the songwriting process, how I find it interesting where you like start with an idea that's very specifically about one person, but then maybe you get some sort of visual or diction thing that you like from another person, and then you put them together, and it's like you've made a whole new character out of like people in your life, and then people are like, who's it about? And you're like, it's about my ex from 7th grade, but it's also about like the politician that I saw on the TV, and then like, and this commercial, and then like, it just becomes like a mess of.
I always have a good. I think this is always interesting. What's the first line in the song, and why is that the first line in the song?
First line of the song is said it's true that I don't know what you've been through. And I think it was really important to me to get dialogue, to get like a concrete place, time, people, action in the lyric versus like I'm feeling sad or like people are mean, you know, like I try to stay away. When the songwriting gets in, or when my songs get in trouble, it's because I'm being really general or I am
abstract,
failing to commit to physical place, time, and story. And so I was like, let's get after the place, time, and story.
Nice. And then Tobias, what was the, I guess, most memorable part for you of like adding to the song? Or were there any specific words that you added, or even like just structure wise, what did you add that was like really stood out to you and is the most memorable?
Working on the close harmonies was really definitely memorable and kind of influenced, I think, in the long run, like some of our other songs as well. Knowing that we could do that, I think gave me a knowing that we can try to do that.
I think you guys are pulling it off.
Is really cool, and it's like for the longest time we've kind of been like, okay, either you're gonna sing lead or I'm gonna sing lead, because neither of us have been kind of like proficient enough to like get the harmonies in there. So getting the harmonies and then using that to build the structure of the song, because like I said, like the dynamic and the kind of arc of it was a little bit tricky to figure out. So being able to not only put down harmonies that actually sound good, but also help the story and arc of the song was really really cool. And then kind of like just being in, I just feel very lucky to have been with so many musicians, making songs that are mine or yours, that kind of from scratch, and arranging them and being like, oh, this is quiet here and then loud here, like whatever it is. I just think it's been so much fun and yeah, a real blessing. So
for sure. And then I know just online we were talking a little bit. Do you guys want to talk about gear and instruments, like both on the track and just what? Let's get off the track. What stuff are you guys going to be bringing with you to play live?
I play a 1988 Japanese custom Telecaster with a humbucker neck pickup that I've really fallen in love with, and kind of has really kickstarted my electric guitar journey, because I used to mostly just play on acoustic, and I bought that thing like last summer. And it's kind of like what you said about like keeping your guitars out and then, I actually want to play them.
Yeah.
It's kind of made me realize how important it is to have something that you actually really want to play, because then you're just playing it all the time, and then the practice is not even an issue. It's just like you're going for it. Moses is really the gearhead. I don't know why I started off with my guitar.
No, I think that's good. Well, that's what we're bringing, and I think a lot of what I focus on is in other arenas. I play a P bass.
Nice. I know a lot of bassists will approve and a lot of will disapprove.
And I definitely I can feel the temptation of being like, oh, I want a jazz bass, I want active pickups, I want a short scale, like I want to do everything. But I really actually like, especially like where we're at now, where we're trying to meet a lot of musicians and playing a lot of like bar scene type gigs, like I don't want to have to switch an inch, I don't want to have to change my instrument during a set.
Of course not.
Want to do an acoustic version of stuff. We want to be able to it's really important that the set flows. And so it's been really versatile, and I've loved it. I'm going to be bringing probably a Rat distortion that I'll run it through.
Nice.
And I'm working on, I would love to get sort of the octave fuzz sound into my playing a little bit, and it's a little tricky because I'm playing out of like at home I've got a Ampeg sort of PF500, very sort of entry level solid state head, it going into like a GK cab that's about like 12 inches, so you're not really getting, and it works great, but it's small, so you're not getting it's not like you're standing on a sub, when you're playing on the stage or whatever. So there are a lot of sounds that I feel like I could only really access live, that I would love to start getting into more. The other thing is I want to get like you, like I would love to have like a real streaming and recording setup. So like today we have like a Beta 58, an RE20 on the vocals. I have like a lot of problematic low mids in my voice, so this helps me deal with those. And the guitars were coming through a Royer 121 that was going into a cloud lifter. So I don't actually own any condenser microphones, but the cloud lifters helped me. Like if I want a condenser sound out of something nicer, I can attach it to this. I can attach it to the Royer. And
this is just an SM58, man.
Yeah.
This is nothing. I just put a windscreen so my peas don't pop sometimes.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So, but I think like having just like I can get set up, I can play, like I can have musicians on Zoom, I can stream to Instagram or whatever. Like that's the goal.
But that was something I was getting on him about, is because he was singing through his RE20 during rehearsal, and then we would go to the venue and he would sing through a dented, dropped in beer 58.
Why don't you bring your own 58?
Got it. Well, right, or just.
I always bring one of my own. I mean,
we will be to this. This is the beta's coming to the gig.
I've been really enjoying singing through that.
But I've actually confidence that Brooklyn Music Kitchen has excellent backlines.
Incredible
backlines in all of Brooklyn, and you should check it out on March 5th. You hit it. You guys hit it 8 p.m. right?
Yeah, we're 7. I say 6:30. So everyone come at 6:30. Right. Brooklyn Music Kitchen, Saturday, March 5th. Kanem and the Diamond Dogs are playing. Alexion and Rubin Brothers Circus and Genique.
I've watched some clips of your podcast or whatever. What have you guys been working on? Like, are you the main songwriter in your project? Like, are you playing a little bit today? You want to play something?
Oh,
Like,
I mean, I could.
hearing it.
This is about this
Not
is
hooked up.
about you all. You know, I came to hear about your story, and you know, I play with Kanem and the Diamond Dogs, and then I also do a podcast, Tonal Distancing. The podcast just started. Obviously, it sounds like social distancing started during the pandemic, and it was just me. I always wanted to do a podcast, and then my friend in Texas, Prabhu, also wanted to do a podcast. His stage name is Bloom, and then we have a friend in Michigan, Zach, that's like really good at guitar. That we're like, well, we need someone that's actually really good at guitar to be playing with us too. And so that's just how it started. It's like, I mean, I didn't have band practices anymore. Like the last gig I was supposed to play was March 15th. And 2020, and that was no bueno. But so yeah, my progress, I started playing a lot more seriously probably 2016, 2017, and recording and everything. First band I kind of put together was Kanem and the Maymoons in Detroit, Michigan. Did a lot of cool shows there, from bars to clubs we played a culture show. Like it was a Persian culture show because we were kind of connected with the Persian community in Michigan. I'm not Persian. I'm Trinidadian and American. And so, yeah, play the culture show. We played like a motorcycle grand opening, like a motorcycle shop grand opening, which was really fun. And just a bunch of fun, different,
Motor
unique
City.
gigs. Yeah, Motor City. What better place?
So are you come at it from sort of like Motown-y sort of Detroit place, or are you like a Jack White, like sort of Zeppelin-y like guitar? Like not that it's either or, but
No. It's an interesting
place
question.
my head goes when I hear like the Detroit like rock scene.
Great places for your head to go. I always say I grew up with essentially like a holy trinity of like Guns N' Roses, Motley Crue, and Metallica. Like that's what I listened to a lot growing up. I branched more into like Stevie Ray Vaughan and then Albert King and Hendrix. So like those are like earlier rock and blues influences, and I kind of keep it somewhere there. Like a newer artist like Gary Clark Jr. is someone that I've always really enjoyed. Jared James Nichols, those players I've always really enjoyed. But like it's weird. I'm not really so like location based. This is what really influenced me, because the CD collection at home was just like so many different things. A lot of it was 80s metal, but then there was like interesting things like I don't know, like Sade and other interesting artists that have, you know, always been near and dear to my heart. But not all of them really come through my playing. I'll say that.
Right. No, but definitely the same is true here.
Oh
you
yeah,
know?
I mean we went through a whole like bluegrass phase. Like there was like a big part of my musical journey.
Oh boy.
Like, only listening to like new wave bluegrass, and so I don't think that comes through when we're on stage with.
Maybe it should. I want to see like some of those like.
Especially with Asher on lead guitar.
Yeah, our guitar player is also definitely influenced
Chris
by that.
Steliak.
Yeah, Chris
He's
Steliak is
really
like
the one
yeah,
that
the-
everyone's chasing after.
Yeah. But definitely doesn't all translate to stage, but I like to think that it kind of slowly builds up in the background.
Osmosis style.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. I mean, it all does. I feel like I was just a lot of times that I'm like just by myself, playing guitar. I try to focus and do like rudiments and practice and actually get better, but then most of the time it just ends up being songwriting where I'm sitting down and I'm like, okay, let's go voice memos. Let's just start recording whatever comes out. Like, oh, that's cool. And there's been some things that I've just been like really like, oh, I didn't know I'm trying to basically rip off Tool right now. It just happened.
Yeah. A funny thing that's happened with us is that I think we have such a encyclopedic knowledge of each other's music tastes that like he'll bring me a song and he'll be like, this is the verse, and then here's how the hook goes. And I'm like, you got that hook from Boulevard of Broken Dreams, man. Like, I know exactly where you're like, and your verse is like, I don't know, like something something else. Like I can hear exactly where you were like, oh, that sounds cool. I'm gonna rip that.
Or we'll
off.
say, we'll sing other lyrics. We'll sing the lyrics of the songs we know.
Yeah.
People are that like, you know, that were the inspiration like over the other melodies. Yeah, I do appreciate that. It's sort of a newer thing in terms of the people I've played with, obviously.
I mean, great artists steal. I mean, the funny thing,
like if you're not stealing, like what are you doing?
exactly. The funny thing, it's like the one song I wrote a while ago. It's called Black Mamba Blues, and I mean, if anyone remotely listened to Hendrix, they're gonna be like, "Oh, he's playing Voodoo Child, but kind of wrong," and it's true. Like I think like you don't want to admit it when you first write it, but then like you get some perspective and some time, you're like, it is basically Voodoo Child. It's a little different, and I know I won't get sued for it, but it's basically Voodoo Child.
Well, the kind of
you gotta walk.
The kind of wrong thing is my favorite part actually, is because like a lot of my songwriting is like I hear the melody from one song and I'll sing it to my head and I'll forget the second phrase.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'll sing another phrase from another. So like they wind up being like Frankenstein's from like whatever I have on repeat like that week. Yeah, that makes so much sense.
Yeah.
I'm excited to hear it, man. I'm really pumped to hear
excited
you guys.
for a 3-5 at Brooklyn Music Kitchen with Rubin Brothers Circus and Kanem
And the Diamond Dogs.
Diamond Dogs.
Wait, so are you in Astoria now? Is that why is that how Diamond Dogs got in the name? Because I know there's a dive bar in Astoria that I go to that's called Diamond Dogs. It's delicious.
Well, I feel like now we have to try to go play this Diamond Dogs bar because I didn't know that.
We really should try to play Diamond Dogs. It would be great, and like I could invite some friends, and it would be really fun.
So the way we got to Diamond Dogs is, I guess generally, I always try to set up the band. So since I normally put out the music and everything, and I'll do that on my own time, and I do a lot of the writing and everything, most of the time I'm looking for a band to play with. But I kind of like that Bruce Springsteen and the E Street Band, where that band is also important. So that's why I always like coming up with like Kanem and the Maymoons or Kanem and the Diamond Dogs. And the way the Diamond Dogs came through was like a couple of things. I think funny enough, like I think the main influence was like we just started playing like Moon Age Daydream by David Bowie, and we were really digging that. And then like we also like have a history of like playing some video games, and one of those video games being Metal Gear Solid. And in like I don't know, I think it's Metal Gear Solid 5, the military group is called the Diamond Dogs. And they're just funny because we were playing a David Bowie song, and then the drummer's phone, Daniel's phone, goes off, and it's like a Metal Gear Solid sound. And it all just kind of clicked as like, oh, like we should just, I said it like kind of, I don't know if I said it. I think they said it. It's like, what do you think about the Diamond Dogs? I'm like, I'm completely okay with that. I swear I've been thinking about this for weeks. I'm happy you brought it up because I don't like to force the name on them. I like them to come up with it and be like, yeah, it's cool. Or, no, that's really crazy. Like I haven't ever denied a band like their name, but I have said sometimes like, that's kind of crazy. But if you guys really like it, think about it for a week. And then if this goes on a marquee, that's all you. And I'm telling everyone that's all you.
Yeah.
But
yeah, we're definitely taking responsibility for the circus, the possessive.
Right, Rubin Brothers. But I think I like the idea of like trying to keep it, especially playing in New York. Like you're gonna be playing, you want to be playing with so many people. Like you want to have and that for our name at least, like a lot of the inspiration was like I would. And frankly, we could do a better job of living up to that, like and having more guests, and that's like definitely like a real goal.
I'll come play with you guys.
Yes, let's do it.
I wish I could like breathe fire or like swallow a sword or something, because that would be like,
I mean, like, but that's the thing.
Circus.
Yeah, like,
If there are
jugglers or something,
if there are sword swallowers, fire breathers, even jugglers, or you know what, even a clown, and you're listening to this, or you see it on Instagram,
follow us on at Rubin
no,
Brothers
don't just
Circus.
follow us. Like shoot us a DM. Like we'll get you in. You will be on stage with us.
But more importantly,
promise
it's
you.
at Rubin Brothers Circus, and that's RUBIN.
They're gonna see this. I think this is coming
Whatever,
through Instagram.
man. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it will come through, but still, if it goes somewhere else, we'll do the whole wash over it. Good call. Honestly, though, always go for it. Spell it out, because if someone listens and doesn't hear it, so go for it.
Our last set at
RUBIN.
Our last gig in the city was spelled. It was spelled the wrong way.
They did spell it right. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And I wrote Rubin Brothers because I was just like quickly.
That's true.
Yeah.
It's only my like fastidiousness. I was like, something feels wrong.
That's great. I definitely make those mistakes all the time. And
I think we had a family member way back in the day who changed. I think changed his name from
great uncle
Rubin, to Robin.
The family was pissed.
Yeah, the family was not super happy about that. But
Robin, Uncle Robin, you rapscallion. Funny enough, I like to make myself like my own picks every once in a while, and one of them I don't have it with me right now, but one of the ones I did make says spell check on it, because I just went through this horrendous time of like misspelling, like definitely like online, but also like I think I got like a different set of picks that had like a quote I really liked on it, and it was like I spelt descent instead of descend, and I just felt like a complete idiot. So I was like, I'm gonna get this other brand of picks that say spell check as a reminder to always check my spelling. All right, well, it's been really good talking to you guys. Do you guys have anything else you want to say, let the people know about?
I think we're just really pumped to see you live and share some space and make music.
Yeah,
sounds good. Well, thank you guys for talking. Till next time, till the gig. Again, Saturday, March 5th, Kanem and the Diamond Dogs, Alexion, Rubin Brothers Circus, and Genique. Come check us out. Thank you guys so much, and I hope you guys have a good day.
All right.
Thank you
you
so
too,
much,
brother.
man.
Bye-bye.
Bye.